Hello and welcome to the unofficial podcast of the Reap Smite League. We are Big Circles Weekly. I'm here, your host, Skipper. Today I'm going to be joined by Spooky Mars.
Once again, back on the podcast. Glad to be here, even if Skipper isn't glad I'm here.
It's still up for debate. I got Eins here with me.
It's your boy Kid Slim support. 0 for 2
Yep, and
on the week. About to be 0 for 3 with this podcast.
there you go. Then we're followed by Daddy. He's going to be our other host. He was not making it here last week, but here he is today. Daddy, introduce yourself.
There we go, Mr. Daddy here, former jungler of the former team Daddies. Mr. Daddy, we had a little falling out and we've left the Reap Smite League, but we are going to keep things going strong on the podcast. Not going to leave my boys hanging, and it's not going to be the same if I'm not there, so I got to be here.
All right, and finally we got our first guest, TK Kells. You want to introduce
Hello.
yourself, T Kells?
Hello, TKOs01, former solo laner for the team Daddies, and the pro of the team, and yeah, just a hard carry for them.
Of course. So today we're going to be going over the games that we had in the Reap Smite League Week 1. We got 4 games for you today. Started out with We Need Wards. And I believe Spooky and Eins, you guys were faced up against each other this game.
Indeed.
Yeah. So let's just jump straight into it. Game 1 of We Need Wards versus Janitors. I believe that was the first game of the Reap Smite League for season 2, right?
Very
Correct.
first season 2.
All right. So
Yeah, I was rewatching the game recently, and and again, it's just a great back and forth. From the first game, it seemed like the janitors started really strong, especially abusing that mid lane a lot. Nemesis was doing pretty well. Yeah, sorry. But it seemed like, as somebody who's had a lot of trouble ganking that mid lane of Spooky, I would say that what did you feel like you had problems with in that game versus other games? It seems like they were really pressuring you a lot.
You know, so it was first game back, of course, so little bit of adjustment problems going in. I did not position well. Probably could have warded better, and honestly, I just did not respect the damage output that they had on me, and I ended up overstaying, got caught out, and I did it like 3 times, didn't learn my lesson. So,
It
and I
even looks like, though, even though maybe you died a couple times, your level disadvantage wasn't that high. And I wonder, I don't really know what caused, because you're only down 2 levels about 10 minutes into the game, even though you died 3 times. So I guess that kind of shows you're, able to stay into the end. Now here again, 1 level disadvantage with 3 deaths, so that shows your ability to stay farming when you're dying is really good. And I'm noticing that your support, I would never let that Ganesh through against your support ever again after being on the bad end of that. But he really did do a great job and put some overtime in everywhere. I'm seeing him in solo lane, I'm seeing him in mid. So I think that that speaks to your guys' resilience that you were able to stay in that, only a 1 or 2 level disadvantage, though, even though you died a couple times there.
yeah, our coach worked with me a lot at the beginning about farming, and I would say I was still not doing it quite as well as I should have been. I left back camps open a lot, and rewatching it, I noticed the real Bilbo janitors mid. He was hitting those camps up all the time, and
Mm.
of course, after I died those 3 times, like okay, just focus on farming, stay relevant, make rotations where you can, but don't sacrifice farm for it. Just scale up. Man, I have mad respect for Bilbo though.
No, that was a great job. And then Slim, I'm looking here. You did a great job of just sticking to your guns. Moving around at the 20-minute mark, making sure that you're making plays everywhere. Even going as far over to help out in the fire giant area about 20 minutes in. So it looks like you really stuck to your game plan too. And your Jing is nothing to not pay attention to. Your Jing is very serious. So what was your focus going into that game since we have you here?
Well, that being my first support game, um, my mind was kind of all over the place, and I kind of had to focus that into just kind of put what was going on in my mind onto the battlefield. And I knew I had to be, I had to be there, had to be that team player, setting up things, securing some kills if needed, but all around just being there for my team. And game one felt really good. Felt like I was, doing my assigned role. Me and our me and Honk, our solo lane. I feel like we was really up there, engaging fights, peeling gods when needed, and helping secure. So it felt really good game one. Just started the game. I can tell you right now, started the game first 30 seconds in, my legs were shaking because I was so scared and so nervous. But then once we hit like the 15, 20 minute mark, I felt like I was in my right spots and I felt like I was doing everything right. So
Yeah, I definitely see that here too. It just looks like you guys did a really good job of starting off strong and keeping it going throughout the whole game. In this first game.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I watched that game as well. Game one, it was all the janitors game. They pretty much dominated from the word go. They had a few slip ups here and there, but I would say, Slim, your Jing was just fantastic. You were throwing a lot of people back towards your team, basically just doing alley oops to them to get free kills. Um, I think you ended the game with like 10 or more assists, which was pretty good on that, like, the low kill game that they had.
You have 15. You have 15 assists by the end of that game. 2-1 with 15 assists. Um, really solid play overall.
Yeah,
yeah, I think coach really likes my Zhang. He told me, if I felt confident with it to pull it out, and I felt like I could really do work with him, so I just decided to pull him out.
yeah.
There was other gods he wanted me to play, but he told me if you're
Oh,
confident to pull him out week one, go ahead. And so that's what I did.
yeah. Your Jing was good. I did like the Hercules. It was a very different kind of support than Jing is. Your Hercules for game three. Pairing that with the Freya, I'm not. I mean, it worked a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked personally. Um, because I don't know, they don't. To me, they don't synergize as much as somebody else could. Freya's not gonna have that big burst damage early to get those kills, but it was still a good pick of yours, and I think maybe with it paired with a better ADC, it would have done more work.
So going into game two, what is it? What's going on in the comms for We Need Wards after game one? When you're going into game two, what's the vibe in there? Are you guys happy? Are you guys pissed? What's going on?
Well, immediately after game two ends, it's kind of frustrated. We did pretty badly all around. We didn't really contest many objectives at all. We didn't get any, so kind of frustrated ourselves.
Got it.
But coach pops in, Bojo hops in, and he just tells everyone, take a breath, breathe in, hold, exhale. And he just walks us back into it, gets us hyped up for the next one, says, you got this. Just focus on the objectives, work together. You got it. So
Yeah,
it was just calm down, relax, get into the right mindset, and managed to get through game two.
yeah. I mean, game two, it was a good back and forth, but it's right around that I don't know 20 something minute mark. You guys start to come away with it a little bit, and I've been fortunate enough to do a VOD review with Bojo that ended up being like a 2.5 hour thing where we went into jungle practice, and I can speak to his ability to calm someone down, and he's a really good high level player. So the fact that he was able to bring you guys back in, and your gameplay shows it here. Um, you guys really came in strong with this second game. It's almost like the first game didn't even happen with the way that you guys played. Just more confidence going in there. The KDs are looking good. Your Humbots, even though maybe his KD didn't show what he was able to do, Humbots is one of those characters where you can go 1-4 or 2-5, but you could have been, the ringleader of the game. So it's kind of a unforgiving God in that way. But it looks like you guys came in really confident in that second game, and Slim looked like you were having a little more difficulties. Maybe you could speak a little bit about that.
Well, I think the problem with us was I think laning wise, I think we did almost as good as we did the first game.
Agreed.
We dropped a little bit with Bologna giving our solo lane some trouble and things like that. But I think laning wise, we still did almost as good as we did our first game. I think the problem was our group fights, and we weren't communicating
Yeah, I
enough,
definitely feel like I can
especially
see that.
when their front especially when their front line basically just ignored our front line and went straight for our ADCs and our mids. And it was causing a lot of struggle because me and Honk would be like, all right, let's go. And then our Siggy and Bilbo would be like, well, I got Bologna on me, I got Bologna on me, and it was chaos. And I think that was one of the big problems game two was there was a lot of chatter. I wouldn't say unnecessary chatter, but there was a lot of chatter and we couldn't
Hmm.
speak louder than one another. So the comms just got muffled, and I think that was one of our big problems in game two.
Yeah, and I think that shows in your KDA here that, although you might have died more, it was to keep other people in the game, into the fight. Your assists are really high, your kill participation is really high. So, it's one of those things where if people are newer to Smite, your KD doesn't really mean that much. You could have a huge impact on the game and have a terrible KD. And not that yours was terrible, but if you
I think
look
that's
at it, someone might be a little confused, but it really doesn't matter. And I think that, somebody who just looked at the scorecard for this game wouldn't understand what an impact you had in the game if they had not watched the entire thing. Your
yeah, I
player
think that's one
damage
thing I
is
said. I think
up
that's one
there.
thing I said during the. I think that's one thing that I said during one of my deaths. I think I died, but we got like a double kill. I can't remember it.
Yeah.
And I remember me sitting there looking at that death screen, watching them get that. Always like, I'll die as many times as I need to for y'all if we get that result.
Yeah, I think it's a great mentality to have. So then we're going into game 3.
One thing
Now,
quick about game two that I
oh,
want
yeah,
to bring
sorry,
up.
go ahead.
No, no worries. I know Kid Slim. He's a little newer to the ADC role. I was looking over his build, and for game two, he was on Izuname
Siggy is
or Siggy.
ADC.
Siggy.
Yeah,
Oh,
who did I
Siggy.
say?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
whatever.
said
Kids
me.
Slim.
Oh, nah, okay, yeah, Siggy. He's a little new to the ADC role. And as an ADC main, I don't play a lot of Izuname, but I was looking at his build, and he went full like attack speed, kind of sort of pen. He got like the Atlantis bow and the kin size. But then he went straight into Silver Branch and the Ikavol.
Oh,
Um,
Siggy is about to get in my DMs about you right
oh
now.
no, that
For this.
he can come to me. I'm saying I hate that build. I absolutely hate that build. I don't know. I think when I was watching the game, I like booted up Jungle Practice, and I was like, "Is the Silver Branch bow giving enough with this item from Izuname? I know she's got her pretty hefty attack speed steroid on her one, but then it like that also takes away her like auto attacks that go through people, so it's not great. But I was looking at it and it's not good. You're not getting the damage that you want out of it. Like Kin size only hits once for her auto attacks. It the Ikavul same thing. It'll only stack on the way going out. It won't stack on the way coming back in. I would have liked her to see crit on that. Like I know we saw it last night. The Poison Star does work if it shreds, 15% damage from two people on that team. That's a team fight win. Like you're not coming
Think her
back if
better.
30% of your damage is just gone.
Yeah.
I think her
Um,
like best bet was going Rage, then Poison Star.
yeah, well, yeah. First
That was
Rage,
my
then
first bet.
Poison Star, and well, I would have done Rage, Atlantis Bow, Poison Star.
Right, right at
You
the
get the
with
attack
the cap
speed.
on the right.
And I'm a
And
big
plus the
fan
extra
of
pin.
Jackie and his Jing went 12-2. Now, I always thought the the way to go was if you're gonna build keen size, don't go crit. Is that true, or is that just like a very baseline? So maybe Skipper, you could speak to that as an ADC main. I was always told either crit or keen size, pick one, but I don't know because I'm a terrible ADC. So I'd like to hear you kind of explain that if you could.
So for me, it doesn't like Kins is such a great item. It's something that I've started picking up more and more, depending on how many tanks the other team has. Even if I am going crit, um, when you go crit, you kind of forego a little bit of that power. You still get a lot of the attack speed, so it will be effective. If you go like Rage, Poison Star, even Deathbringer Kins, and with the Atlantis bow, you'll still be putting out massive damage to those squishies, blowing them up, but it'll also help you kill the tanks.
Got it.
Um, and yeah, it's Kins. I've been slotting it into some of my builds. It just really depends on where it goes and how the game is going. Sometimes uh I'll go Deathbringer Boots, Rage, Atlantas, Kins, or Wind Demon, and we'll see. Like it depends on where this game is going and what I'm having to
Yeah.
deal with. If I'm getting Dove, I might try the Kins just to like melt those tanks before they get to me. But um, yeah, that's pretty much one of my go-to builds right now, and
Okay.
I think that would have done work on Izuname. Um, even without the Kins, like that team, it's not super tanky. You have the Bologna who's building like Bruiser, and then you have the Yamoja. And the other three are just like if you hit them twice, they will fall down if you crit.
Yeah,
So
and I know that now Kunzanity's Bologna is like his comfort pick, correct? That's like something that he is known for, or am I mixing them up?
Absolutely. Kanzanity loves his Bologna. Like, that is his go-to god all the time.
Yeah, he's definitely will give you. I think I would almost say he's good with Bologna enough that it gives you a false sense of confidence that you can play Bologna in solo lane, and then you go in there and it doesn't work and you're confused, which has probably happened to me a couple times. But he's so comfortable and he knows the kit so well that it's just you can see that he just knows how to do things when they're exactly when you're supposed to that you're not going to think of, and he his Bologna is dirty. That's why if I go back, Honkler went Bologna the first game, right? Yeah.
Yes, he
And I
did.
almost feel like he did that to be like, "What's up?" You know, I'm gonna take your comfort pick, which I know that when we played, we need wards. We picked Ganesha because we didn't want to deal with it. So it was kind of like one of those, pick your poison type situations. So you guys have a couple people with some really hard comfort picks in this game, which I think, as someone who's played both teams and been destroyed by both teams, this was a fun matchup to watch because I feel like your guys' play styles, the skill level is there. You guys could have played this game 100 times and it probably would have been, 50-50. So it was a fun game to watch. We go into this third game and the pressure's on for both teams. I'm sure. How are we feeling 2 games in?
For janitors, um, we had optimism. We still had optimism that we could win the third game. I think our coach came in. Our coach came in, talked to us. Mark's a great coach. Came in, told us keep our head up. He could tell that comms were a bit crazy game two, and he told us all, just calm down, get back in that fight. Y'all can win the third game. In my head, I'm a little nervous because after they win game two, they kind of have the momentum.
True.
So in my head, I'm nervous is all hell, but I'm still like, okay, we can still pull this off. We can make this work. We have a chance, and it's gonna be a good fight. Just to make it our fight. But I think the rest of the team, they was calm. They just wanted to get the win, and I think it was just all. I think it was just all on me. It was all in my head. I was nervous as all hell because the confidence was the morality was down for me after losing that game too. When realistically, that should have been what it was.
Yeah, it's tough. Going into that third game is so daunting, and at this point, you're tired. You guys are playing for 3 hours almost at this point, and it is a little unnerving. So I can't imagine that in that moment you're not sitting there going, "Man, we really got to do this." Um, and then what about over in We Need Ward side? How was that going, Spooks?
Well, obviously it feels good to win after a loss, so the boys were all pretty hyped about that. I was honestly a little bit frustrated with myself still. Uh, if you watch that game, you see me miss about 90% of my Scylla ultimates.
Oh, but God forbid if Jinkan's toenail is in it.
Thankfully, Kid Slim did throw me a bone and stick just one toe into the ultimate one time for me, but
The fucking
the rest
circle,
all
man.
went wide. But yeah, everyone was pretty excited for the next one. They were pretty amped up and ready to go. Uh, did didn't start super well for us though. Now did it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just got it back. I'm rewatching it while we're talking, and you guys are starting 4-0.
Hold on.
Um,
Hold on.
and we're only about 5 minutes in, so I can't imagine. The fact that you guys end up winning this one is, it's resilience. That's the key here. From this whole thing is if you even look at 20 minutes in, we're 15-2. So what changes? What happens in this game that makes it so that what happens in this game?
It's really a shift from, as you saw, we were being pretty aggressive in that early game, and we were being punished pretty hard for it. So we kind of shifted our focus from the fight and tried to focus more on the objectives, the farm. We're down now, but the gold lead doesn't matter if we all reach level 20 and full build. So we just started playing for that point.
Uh, Skipper, I'd love to know what you think about this Vamana jungle. How you feel about it?
Oh, dude, I don't play jungle. I don't know.
No, but I want to know how you feel about it. I feel like you would look at that, and you're as the ADC, right? But
Yeah.
at some point, you're gonna have to deal with this thing, right?
Eh.
What are you thinking about in the back of your head about a Vamana jungle? Because for me, that would throw me off a little bit. It's not something you see very often. Is it what would you think as the ADC going into it? Since we have you here, I feel like it's an important thing to have. What do you think about this Vamana jungle, or do you not care? It's just another body you're gonna shoot through.
Okay, so this Vamana with the build that I'm seeing Jack play, like Jack, I've said it before, he is probably like one of my I would say number 2, number 3 ADC in this league.
For sure.
Like last season he was fantastic. This season he's doing well. Like last game he picked up the Jing Wei and he was fantastic. Um, so this game he picks up the Ho Yi. Like his build is basically the same as it was before. I think he goes he goes the crit build. He gets fail not though instead of like a poison star or anything. But he's got the rage, he's got the Atlantis bow, and he's got the kin size. Uh, his team's got the anti heal. If Vamana goes in onto Jack, he with the Ho Yi, you can basically just use your jump and outlast the ult just a little bit, and then just jump away and shred him if you need to, because you got the kins. You're gonna be doing a whole bunch of damage. You still got the crits, and it's not gonna matter really. He's
Got it.
gonna fall down as long as he doesn't have like the Freya or the whatchamacallit, the Scylla hitting him as well. I
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's just kind of meh to me. It's not
Got it.
gonna it's not gonna do a whole lot as because he is just gonna sit there and auto attack you.
Yeah, I
And
would love to know, what I mean, he did well. I'm really looking at it, and is that a comfort pick for him, kid, or is that something like what is that? It's just something I don't see very often. So I'm curious as to, is that something he does very like all the time, or is it something he just tried out? Where did that come from?
Personally, that was my first time seeing him play Vamana.
Wow.
Personally, don't know if it's a comfort pick or maybe I do and I'm just not telling you. But personally, that's the first time I've seen him Vamana jungle. And honestly,
Yeah,
I think he did. I think he did well.
he
oh,
did.
But I think with what our goal was I think we were just trying to be too aggressive, and I think us saying, well, let's get a third front line as our jungler. I think that kind of killed us in the long run. That and the fact that we had like you said, we was up 15-2 at a point,
Yeah.
and we did not secure an objective to save our goddamn lives.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, son.
that's what ultimately killed us. We got one or two picks, and then when we should have rotated to gold, we didn't. And I think that's what ultimately got us in game three. We just didn't get a. I think we were too focused on trying to end the game as quickly as possible, and I think what we didn't realize was it would have helped us end the game quicker if we got the objectives.
Yeah, I agree. Objectives are extremely important. That's kind of, where you're going to win games is by getting a kill, even not even getting kills, but like getting pressure and then just pushing down an objective. Uh,
You know what? I feel like that's where most people fail to realize, because the one moment you get your objective, that's when you are able to really like push as much as you can. Like even gold. Like once gold fury is up, you can secure it. You can try to secure it as quickly as possible. Then maybe push up mid or right and get a free tower, and then go back to your laning phase or farming phase. And basically, you still have that huge lead against your other team. So like that's where I see a lot of people fail to realize it,
Mhm.
especially like probably gold, at least gold or silver players.
yeah,
Yeah, it's something that you have to learn, and
Actually,
this
platinum
game was a
players are more.
story. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. But platinum players, I kind of see that too from them. It's just I think they just don't pay attention to it as often as they should. But that's just me. So
Yeah, I mean, this game was an ode to that. I mean, you guys take the fire giant at like 35 minutes in, and that's just all she wrote. You guys basically get that fire giant, and that's what the game is from there. That one objective sealed the deal there. You guys waited it out, like you said. You farmed up. You got to the point where it didn't matter who was up, who had more gold, who had more um, levels, because everybody's at the top, and you guys get that fire giant. There's an attempted slick steal by Bilbo, who really went off that game, and you guys just kind of dumped it right in, and you were able to seal the deal on that one fire giant.
uh,
It was a great play overall. It's a fun game to watch. Definitely would suggest anybody who did not see this to go back and watch the whole thing, because it is a great set. Probably one of the better sets in Reeve Smythe League in general. Just two teams that really coming into their own and have a really good ability to play a game well. I've played both teams and been spanked by both teams, so this was a fun game for me to
completely
watch.
clapped.
I gotta tell you though, the comms after that fire giant fight as we're pushing down were very interesting, right? You got three members chasing Kid Slim around that tier 2 in
Hey,
solo.
I was buying time. Let
He
me
was
tell
buying
you.
so much time, and the whole time they're like, "Why isn't it taking damage? Why can't we get it? Just get the tower, guys." And in the meantime, Jack and I are just shoving the mid tower down. And we're like, "Okay, well, they're still over there, so let's take Phoenix." And we're cheering them on, like, "Yeah, get the tower, guys, get the tower. Yeah, let's go." And by the time the Phoenix falls, we've all come to the realization that the first tier 1 tower in solo is still standing, and the tier 2 is invulnerable.
I I love these moments that you get to hear about, because obviously we would never be in there, but it's so funny to see too in the play style where people's personality kind of comes out. Like from what I know about Jack, he's doesn't seem like he just tells you exactly what he's thinking. You know, I've
Yeah.
talked to him a bunch. He's a very I don't want to say he's an aggressive guy, but he's what he needs to be, he can. And I feel like that comes out in his play style a little bit, where you see him he's either running you over or he's waiting you out. He's like almost like you watch like one of those karate tournaments where he's waiting, 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 and then he just explodes on you, and he just does insane amounts of damage in a short period of time. And I feel like that comes out in his personality, so it's funny to see that. Whereas you are like I feel like you're kind of methodical in your play style, and I kind of get that when I get to see you do your casting. So it kind of comes out in I would say in my experience that I get to see that. And then from Kid Slim, same thing. You put the team on your back, and I don't mean at a rude way like you're carrying them, but you'll die 25 times if it gets everybody else hooked up. And I feel like I see that in your personality as well. So it's kind of cool to see that. in the middle of a game, you guys personalities kind of coming out in your character.
Yeah. So any closing thoughts about janitors versus We Need Wards?
You know,
Watch it.
obviously
We almost didn't
the
end.
better team won. Apparently,
Watch it and learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
We
Like, please.
we actually almost didn't end there because we saw the standing towers, and they're like, "Oh, well, we need to regroup on that lane." And then someone just like looks at the Titan, looks at the down Phoenix, and we just start screaming, "No, no, end!"
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't think any of us were confident that we would have won if we let janitors respawn there.
It was a close game. I would say that's probably again, yeah, the best game of the week. So if you're looking for some good Smite, check that one out.
don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry. We got y'all week 6 or week 7, so we coming back.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Love that. I love that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be another fun game to watch again because we'll see who makes the adjustments and you know. Again, I swear if you guys play a game 100 times, I think you guys win 50-50 as of right now, you know. That game kind of showed that.
Yep. All right. Moving on to our second set, we have Dr. Phil going up against Jaws with a Z. Two new teams, I believe, but with some returning players. Who watched this game and has some comments on that?
Okay, now that I didn't
Uh,
watch.
That's the one I watched
right.
mostly because spoilers. We play who was it, Dr. Phil? So this was kind of a scouting report for me.
Okay. TKels, what did you
Um,
see? Or sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I
I
see you still got more.
no, T-Kels, no, give it to T-Kels.
All right, TKels, what do you got?
honestly, that was the one game I didn't watch, but I can try to go over. I can go over right now and see.
No.
Like,
All right. Eins, what do you have then?
I was gonna say, dude, don't at me.
Well, game 1 was actually surprisingly passive up until about the 14-ish minute mark. I mean, you go first 13 minutes, I believe it's like 2-2 or 2-3 to Jaws with the Z. So, you know, they were really playing the passive game. Though I do have questions about the Jing jungle.
I have a couple questions.
What?
They scrimmed with it. So,
Yeah, I see that, and then
If he's comfortable with it,
I mean, there is a team that plays Chang'e jungle and
yeah,
Chalk.
it's I was interested. You know, we see that Jingtian jungle, which it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yep.
And then Nemesis
Nemesis ADC.
Nemesis ADC. I mean, I've seen in the SPL sometimes like a set ADC or something like that. I don't know what the game plan was there. I didn't even know Tobias plays Nemesis.
I mean, Tobias plays everything. That's
He
kind of
does.
his
Tobias is
shtick.
Tobias.
Yeah, that's
He is
his thing, is that he plays every role. My thought process is that it was going up against a mage ADC. They did just get hit with the nerf bat pretty hard, but they're still strong, and there's still a long time in the game where they can 1v1 you.
Yeah.
I think the plan was basically to get him to a point where he can run down the soul and kill her before she has anything to do, and then win team fights that way. Didn't turn out that way. And for me, I think the whole team comp was kind of a mess.
It,
The
it was
Jing.
definitely
Go ahead.
something I would see in a casual conquest game playing with Tobias.
Yeah. For me though, the Jing, I like the Jing. Like when going back to the We Need Wards janitor games, the Jing Chen is comboed with a big mage ultimate, like the Poseidon, the Scylla, something like that, where if you throw somebody in, they're going to take. You're basically confirming a ton of damage.
Yeah.
You're not getting that with the Ice Assault. It does damage, but it has to charge up, and it takes a while, and at that point. Same with the Zhonghui. It's not gonna do anything. So, I mean, the Jing Chen jungle, okay, it can be a thing, but please, next time, pair it with
Don't
something
do
that
it.
can do damage. But
Yeah, I have to agree. I just feel like the connections weren't getting there, and I think that kind of was capitalized on by Jaws, and I know that they have some really strong players in there,
Oh yeah.
and this was a very high level game. And I think this was just you're looking at a team comp situation. When you look at the way it played out, it looks like the team comp was pretty instrumental in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
say after
I wanna
after. Go ahead.
I wanna just pop in real quick. I mean,
Please.
if if you grab someone with the Jing ult, you can still pump some damage into them as they're being thrown,
Yeah.
and that can help charge up the Isis ult, especially if you just slap the Isis ult down on a fight. Jing is probably moving forward through that anyway, trying to catch as many people as he can, which will again charge up that Isis ult. And if you just throw him back into it, it can still do quite a bit of damage. So I do kind of like that combo personally.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. My thing is that there's just much better options. And
Now that we're
Name
seeing
37.
skills. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
name 37.
Name 37.
All right, I'll name pretty much every other mage that can do pretty much anything and more
Ah,
damage
you
than an
fool. There aren't
Isis.
that many mages in the game.
Well,
Okay.
I'm just wondering too, because I know Skills is leaving. He's usually a jungler and he's coming into the mid. I played with him a couple times. He is a good mid. I know that he plays some. I don't want to say weird, but just maybe gods that aren't as popular. And so I know he likes a Baba Yaga solo. So he comes in with the ISIS. Maybe it's something he's really comfortable with. I mean, he did pretty good this game, all things considered. And comparatively to the rest of his team, nothing against them. Just saying, if I look at the stats and nothing more, he did pretty. He played a safer god, I'd say probably. Maybe he thought he could do damage from far away and didn't feel confident in getting ganked. But again, I think that Skipper's kind of right in the team comp situation, but I do see what you're saying, Spooky, that there is something to that. That the Jing, and Noah's a good, really good jungle. So I think maybe there's something there he saw that maybe we didn't, maybe I didn't say.
No,
Oh no, the rest of the team comp definitely at least raises some questions.
yeah.
We're not gonna talk about the weird solo picks after the stuff I pulled not too long ago.
I
Yeah,
mean, Jean Quay can do stuff. And
Oh no, not John.
are you talking
Not the
about game
John.
2?
I'll talk about Hera for me.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that yet, so.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
So we get
Oh.
this first game ends out with Jaws with a Z taking the win. I'm not shocked by that.
Mm-mm.
The post game stats kind of tell a story, I think. Um, you know, taking that Jingtian jungle with a lot of lifesteal,
So
and
wait,
maybe
who
that got
won?
shut down. I'm not really sure.
Who
Jaws with
won
the
that first
Z1
game?
with the normal team comp.
Jaws with the Z1. Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I said the wrong thing.
Nah.
Oh no, you're right.
But
So then we go into game 2, and it looks a little more normal from Jaws with a Z.
Yeah, the
yeah,
all
they did leave the
the all around carry from Dr. Phil.
yeah, I mean that's fine. He did just get a hefty nerf along with the main items that he built that made him as strong as he was. Not saying that he's still not like a strong carry.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he's still
Yeah.
good, but they also left the Cthulhu open, and that Cthulhu just wrecked.
Yeah, Cthulhu will clap.
Like
I feel like Oleron was so good for a little bit that it didn't matter if you played Oleron or not, and now it's really just helpful if you played Oleron when he wasn't as good, and now you're really happy
Now it
about it.
matters.
yeah,
Yeah.
now it's player skill,
Absolutely.
and going against a Ganesh Hachi lane with a Niza as their jungler, Ularon's not going to have a good time into that. And yeah, so I don't know. He got cut out more than a couple times and lost a lot of pressure. He was down a lot of kills. And he kept up on XP, which was nice, but he wasn't able to hit the power spikes when he would want to and actually be able to like outbox the Hachiman when he gets that ring of Hakati online, just because they were at such an even stalemate and he was down. But um, other than that Dookie on the hot what's it called? The Niza. For me, that was my standout pick. He did fantastic on that, and it was really nice to see another player play Niza as well as he did.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did a
Dookie.
great job, and against a strong jungler too. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like he was walking over somebody. He was just played really well. He's always a good pick, especially if you're a good knees off player, and he clearly showed that he can do that.
But again, I think Jaws with the Z, they got a lot of these neutral objectives. They got a lot of the towers down first, and that just snowballed and cemented their lead. And they were just able to get a lot of this pressure off that got them the win.
Yeah, I think synergy definitely seemed to win this game in general. I know that Dr. Phil has some really solid players, but maybe they just gotta tighten it up a little more, and they'll, I'm sure, be back with some serious competition.
Yeah, and they are a new team of like all free agents.
Yep.
And they were all fill players. That's the whole point behind the team is that they can roll swap whenever they want
Well,
if something doesn't meet their fancy. But we'll see how this game continues to, or how that team continues to grow and improve it together.
Yeah, I like a theme. I like a theme to a team. I like that. The idea that they could all switch roles at any time. I feel like that's interesting. I felt like our theme last season, Daddy's team, was kind of like we're not going to win, but you'll probably have fun watching it. And I don't know
You're not
why, but I
wrong.
like I like a theme to a team. I don't know what it is. Even if you lose every game, there is something intriguing about a team that has some sort of gimmick. It is a fun thing to watch. And I'm not even saying they're gimmicky, but if they're going to bring in things like, you know, a Xingtian jungle, which you don't get to see that often, I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch those
Right, because
games.
it's like
It's
non-traditional.
it's fun. I want to see those situations. I want to see Tobias play Nemesis. I want to see stuff like that. It makes you want to watch because you're like, if they start going off with it, it's going to be a fun thing to watch because they're going to do the most ridiculous stuff.
all right, but do you want to see him pick Loki?
Yes. It's like his
I
signature pick. He's got to pick it at some point, or he's just gonna troll.
I love that he does that though. He's got weird
I'm in
stuff that
the
he's going to
opposite
do.
camp.
And
I would
Loki is
like to
his
see him never
favorite
pick
god.
Loki.
I mean, I don't want
It's
to
just
play against it.
it's the idea that he would do it. Really early on, I think Tobias was a good coach for us the first time because we kind of did stuff like that. Like we were picking Knox, support and stuff like that,
Not
and people were like,
supporting.
"What the hell is this team doing?" But it ended up being like, that's a fun thing to do, and the fact that Tobias is like that is probably why we got along from coaches to players so well because he's like, yeah, do crazy stuff. Who cares? Pick whatever you want.
Yeah. All right. Closing thoughts on Jaws with the Z versus Dr. Phil.
I think this is just synergy beats everything. I think
Yeah.
that's the story of this game.
I just want, you know, I don't know. I don't even know right now. Dude, my mind is still messed up from last game that we played.
All right. All right. Onto the third game. We got Max Mode versus Atrocity. The season 1 champs Atrocity face the salty run back against Max Mode.
I love this. I love that you guys are all here for this. That's what's really making this a lot of fun. And now that I have a 1 degree of disconnect, I feel like I can really focus on just being like an interviewer,
Yep.
which I kind of like. So I want to know when you're going into this, like you said, it was a salty run back. How are you feeling going into this game? Because I know in the general chat after this game, there was some beef going on in there. So
Yeah,
I want to know.
that was interesting.
Wait, there was beef going on?
There was beef. Maybe it wasn't even between
there
you
was
guys,
hard
but there
beef.
was somebody was mad on not on the other team. Somebody
Oh.
was mad. I don't remember, but whatever you want to say. What is your mentality going into this? Because I'm not going to say that your team is perfect for you, but your team is perfect for you. It's like it's. I played against you, and my claim to fame. I think I killed you with Thanatos early.
I mean,
and I'll forever feel really good about it because that would never happen again. And playing against you on a team is kind of daunting, especially with a team that seems like their thing is they're really good at setting you up to go off. So how are you feeling going into this game?
I mean, okay, so for us, it was like, okay, this is just another game. Where we're kind of look at everything like that. Like, yeah, they were the runners up. We had Ash supporting me today or that game because Sheriff was not able to make it. We met with her early in the day or whatever, and like me and her had some games together. We basically figured out a game plan, see how we work together, and it was great. Um, and then we did some scouting, and we looked at Tweaky, their new jungler. We're like, shit, this guy is good, and this guy is really good on Thanatos. And my coach was like, well, then play it. Like, Max Mode's whole shtick for season one was their synergy, and they moved people around. They got Tweaky into the jungle. They put Sausage down as their ADC, and for us, we're like, okay, we're gonna keep our eye on Tweaky. Um, without their like, they're in different roles, so I don't think that their synergy is gonna be as great as it was last season, and we'll just see how it goes.
So
And
you let the Thanatos through on purpose, is what I
oh
heard.
yeah, we were like, hey, it's a thing. It's his signature pick. We'll see how he does.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it's usually not going to be a ban-worthy god.
I
Um,
agree. Definitely agree. So I was curious because I know like last season I played Kali. I would always get Kali banned.
yep.
I'm not even good, so I don't know why people are banning this against me.
Hmm.
So but when you see that and you know he's good and you know he's good with a god, and for you to go, let's let him through, let's see what goes on. I like that.
Yeah.
That's why I watch this because I want to see some shit like that. Like you
But
guys are
then,
like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. So our deal was okay. We got the Chernobog for me. Um, if Thanatos gets big, if Thanatos comes to assassinate me, I go hide in a wall and I scream for help. And then my team comes and just kills Thanatos, and then I come back out and I kill the rest of the team. And that happened on multiple occasions where Thanatos would go up in the air and I'd be like, nah, I'm out of here. You can deal with these four guys. I'm in the wall and you can't touch me. And then
Yeah.
I would come back out and we would kill him and then it'd be fine and then we'd just run over the rest of the team. He got huge in this early game. Like I'm looking at
Yeah.
like 13 minutes, he has like 8 kills and 1 death.
8-1.
And like I remember in the game, Ruler was not a happy camper. He was like, I'm trying to do my red buff and this guy's here and like I can't fight him. And we're like, so don't. Like,
Well, because I'm thinking if I'm playing against a Thanatos, is Guan Yu something he's very comfortable with?
I mean, yeah. Okay,
Because
so we've practiced a whole lot of stuff,
okay, that's
and
why I'm what I wanted to get at.
yeah, Guan Yu is a great pick. It's especially great against this team. Like, if he ults, he's gonna either force beats or kill Uluran or the Ares, or not Ares, Agni. Like, one of them is going to die, and it's gonna be just a one team fight for us. There's nothing they can do about it. So, especially when we have like the triple warrior with those shreds that he gives,
True. That's a good
it's
point.
fantastic. We do
Good
more
point. I
damage
didn't
and they
think of
die
it like that.
quicker.
Yeah, I mean this Thanatos went. This kid is definitely a standout jungler.
Oh, for sure.
From what I'm looking at, 10-2, level 18. Your Baba Yaga is the only person who over levels him. So that's a serious threat and interesting build. Even the Rune Forged on there, I guess for that if he's gonna stun you with the. I mean, I guess what CT gets procced after that, but still, it looks like it was a good call. Standout too. Your solo 5-0,
Oh yeah.
23 minutes in.
Yeah.
How's he feeling? He's feeling good, right?
Brox is ridiculous. He's like, I'm going to destroy Ornn because he was a little salty that he didn't get the solo MVP.
Yeah.
He said basically that he was gonna show everyone why they were wrong.
Yeah.
And I would say he definitely did that.
Especially in a matchup that I would think that the Amaterasu would be maybe in quotes stronger pick, maybe on a
Mhm.
tier list, somebody would say, but it doesn't look like that from this. 5-0 with 10 assists. So he's getting a lot of kills. He's kill participating all of the time.
Yeah.
He just played a really good game with Odin. So I know that Odin players can look at this and say, you don't necessarily need to play a brain dead god. You can bring Odin, who's seen a little bit of nerfs late, not recently, but since he was in his prime when they reworked him. But he really came out strong. And I'm looking at this Odin; it's just fun to watch. A good Odin.
Yeah, and his Odin is really a force to be reckoned with. He grabs the blink and he can jump in there and just like cage a couple people, and either you jump out and take damage, you stay in there and don't get any healing, or you force your team to buy the spectral walk and you still take damage and you're down a relic. And he
Exactly.
did all of those things in every team fight, and it's just so fantastic to have him on that pick.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pushed through that first game. Looks like relatively easily. I'm sure you're feeling really good. You're going into game 2. How are we feeling?
Game 2 was fantastic. So, um we're looking at picks and bans. Like, we banned the Thanatos. We're like, you know what? He did great on that. We'll just get rid of that. We'll get rid of that in the Agni. Um, and then I think they first picked Scylla, and my coach goes, "Hey Skip, you know how you always hover Cupid and troll?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, do that and then lock it in. And I kind of flipped out, and I was like, "Yes, finally it's happening." And so I get to play Cupid, who I would say is probably my favorite god in the entire game by a lot.
Oh dear.
Yes.
I mean, I
Um,
like
You
a
need better
Cupid.
taste.
I mean, I need better taste, but then I go 6-0 and basically just solo the complete sausage every time he steps up to lane.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
honestly, I think Sausage just needed to reevaluate his aggression there. He definitely needed to play a lot safer, but
He couldn't.
I tell you, he definitely could have. As someone spectating and catching the game, he definitely could have played that safer, and he just did not. He used his ultimate too early at points and just set himself up for some Fields of Loves on the return. Stepped too far up in the lane. Uh, I remember one specific trade. I do believe it was a little bit earlier in the game where it was actually pretty close. He almost got you on it. But the
Oh
thing
yeah.
is, you heart bomb him, right?
Hmm.
He's got it ticking on him, and he Rom dashes into the wave. He rolls into the wave. So now he's got a heart bomb on him. He's standing beside two archers that he now can't shoot through because he doesn't have astral arrows. He's out of them. And you're on the other side, still pinging him. He gets stunned, and he has no way out now. I'm like, Sausage, why did you do that?
Yeah. So for that fight, I was counting his arrows, and as soon as I hit 5, or as soon as he hit 5, I was like, okay, cool, I won this fight.
This is why I'm not good at this game. Right here.
Yeah.
When the fuck am I ever counting that shit?
You
That's
gotta
never
count
happening. So
and when you're going against Rom, you gotta count the arrows. Like, he
I
can get an
don't
extra one
count
during the fight, but
anything. I don't count jungle timers. I don't do anything. I don't think when I play Smite. That's why I'll never be good at this game. But
I,
that's fine. I'm okay with
I
it.
know
Straight
ADC
mindset
stuff.
is kill, kill, kill.
Kill, kill, kill is my thing. But I like to see this Kali got through. Now he's definitely way better than me, so I shouldn't even comment on it. But I'm going to. I don't like the no boots Kali build. I think it's a
Wait,
bad
he
idea.
didn't build boots?
He did not build boots. He went with the 3 katana build.
I didn't
Now,
see that.
he did really well. I can't say anything. He's definitely better than me. Okay. So I'm obviously not talking smack because he's definitely a better jungler. He's definitely a better Kali. I'm sure. But I don't like the build. Clearly he did well. I can't really say anything, but um, I feel like he probably could have went off more if he had went with a different build, maybe. Maybe that's something that he knows better than me, so I can't really talk. But I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, from my point of view, I would have played that a little bit differently. But it worked out for him.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
who it really worked out for was you, 12-4 that game. So
yeah, he basically, I think his job was to kill me.
I
He
agree with you on that.
he would jump in, blow his load, all over me, and I would just either die or like limp away and be out of the fight until I lifestealed back up.
Yeah,
And that would be kind of a win for them. It depends on if I got the heart bomb on him and timed it out right. Because Cupid can do that if he doesn't kill me, and I throw the heart bomb into him. He dashes away with 1 HP, his ult's off, and he dies.
Yeah, it's definitely the way to play against Kali, and your team did a good job of, again. And I'm not saying this rudely, but your team does a really good job of setting you up. And that's a great strategy. The
Yeah.
ADC is going to do the most damage if they're competent and they're doing their job. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing anybody could do. So that's clearly what happened here. Your everyone on your team, and I'm not saying this rudely, but they all went negative, but it doesn't matter. That's what I was trying to say last game. That's why I'm kind of reiterating the point is the KD doesn't mean shit.
No.
It means absolutely nothing. If you look at the final scores, you might think the game went one way, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you actually had more deaths than kills. And look what happened.
Yeah, as a team, we were down kills, and at one point, I think we were about to lose Fire Giant, and Ruler just goes in there and smacks it and takes it from them. And at that point, we're like, at that point, I was like, I saw the 300 gold pop up on my screen, and I was like, wait, what? Did you get that? And he was like, I got that. And I was like, okay, we're
All right.
Yeah.
we're just chilling here now.
Again, that's the story of the game. And if anybody, who's newer to the league and gets a chance to listen to this podcast and hears it, the kills don't matter. I have a hard time digesting that. If I'm negative, I feel like I failed as a person. But, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because we look at this score and you guys won both games handily. You're feeling pretty good, I'm sure. The salty run back goes the same way. Nothing changes.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if the roster changes did them well. Tweaky is a fantastic jungler. Thorn Mocha popped off that game, but Sausage, he did his best. But at that point, I'm in Cupid, so it's literally my best god. But he was
I'm not
basically a
trying
big
to
jungle
stir the
minion.
pot, but I know you guys had a little argument in the general chat, right? I'm gonna bring it up.
I don't think I did. I don't know who did. I wasn't a part of that.
I
So
thought it was you. Maybe I'm mistaken, but
maybe
I like a little drama.
there was.
I know that might
It
be a
was one of his
surprise
teammates.
to everybody. Oh, were you arguing with one of his teammates?
It was one of his teammates that came up.
Ah, okay. So there you go. But Skipper. You don't need to bring it up, but I'm certainly gonna bring it up because I love to stir the pot because that is what I do.
That's what this podcast is going to become.
No, I'm not going to be rude because that's nothing to do with me. But you go in there, I know you're feeling good after this win, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I like to see. Give it a little bit of flavor. I'm sure at the end of the day, you guys said your GGs, or maybe you didn't. But
no, we did. We always do.
After a win like that, you're feeling good, and that's great. That's what we like to see. But I like this. This is a good game. It's a good game to see that if you're an aspiring person who wants to get into a league or play more competitively, remember that those objectives and sometimes setting up your teammates is far more important than you doing well.
Yeah, like we won the game off of the objectives because we were down kills, but we had the Gold Furies, we had that one stolen fire, we had the towers down, and that wins the game. The end objective is to kill the Titan, not to kill as many players as you want. So
you are right, and maybe one day I will learn that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I gotta say, as a caster, that was very frustrating to watch. During the whole game, Max Mode would get themselves a lead. They found some picks. I'm like, all right, they got something. Now they're gonna turn their attention to trying to get more kills. Okay, that's not the call, but it's what they're doing.
Yeah,
I
And
like it.
especially that Fire Giant was so frustrating to watch because they are grouped up as 5. And here comes Ruler just trotting on down. And both casters like, oh, all right, what's he got to do? Like, they obviously are going to turn and burn him. And they just, like, ignore him for a little bit. And then they, like, oh, well, here's Ruler. Let's maybe make a half-hearted attempt to kill him. And instead, they just give him a free Fire Giant.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be a communications breakdown, but like with janitors, that's something that's easily fixable, and well, hopefully easily fixable. And
Whoa.
if they
Stir in the
become
pot.
Wow.
no,
Stir in the pot. I'm fucking with you.
I'm just saying, hope like maybe it's not, but maybe it. I mean, usually it's going to be an easy fix that they're going to be able to, come back next time, and then during the next time that we face them, they're going to see Ruler coming up to the fire giant, and they're going to be like, nah, you're out of here, and then just kill him, and then win the game off that, and that's how people grow.
It's incredibly important though, because you look at, again, the stats and the play styles and things. You could argue that, like, mechanically, like, you could make this argument. I'm not saying it's true or not, that their jungler was better than your jungler. I'm saying you can make the argument, but it doesn't matter because the synergy is not there. The
Mhm.
better team, skill wise, might not. And again, I'm not saying that your team isn't skilled or anything, but we do have to make the distinction here that I think synergy is the number one most important thing in a Smite game.
For sure.
I think a team full of silvers with good synergy beats a team full of golds that don't know each other most of the time. Just because of the synergy. It doesn't matter. I don't care how good you are. Once your beads run out, you're locked down.
Yep.
And I love to see that.
Going off of the synergy here, and while we're still on game 2 and we touched on builds, Skipper, I want to ask, what the fuck was going on with Don Q's Merlin build?
I was gonna ask that too.
I definitely missed that. This is why you guys are here. You're much more observant.
Okay,
All right.
so
the build was Mage's Blessing, of course, standard start. He gets the tier 1 trinket, which I was vocal about. I said I didn't like it at the start of the match when I saw it there. Gets the blue boots, gets the Bancrofts into Divine, into Obshard, into I think Tahuti.
Yep.
What is that, Skipper? What is that?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some really good insight strats. I play ADC. I don't know what mage items are. All right, I know the rings. I know the ring of OP, and that's about it. But my coach did be like, as soon as the game ended, he was like, Don, what are you doing? And he's like, well, Don's basic excuse was that, the flat pen items got changed or something, so he wasn't really 100% sure what to build. And my coach was like, all right, we're fixing this, like, right now. And so he gave him some new builds.
I'm going to tell you why this build is bad
Okay.
from somebody who doesn't play mage. Because that's what I would build. So that's how I know it's not good.
That makes sense.
Because I am garbage. So I'm just totally joking. But, I'm looking at it. What is the real, for someone who's out of the loop, I'm asking for a friend, not me specifically, what's wrong with the build?
Well, it's like we were touching on, synergy. How do these items synergize with each other? The answer is they really don't.
Okay.
They don't work with each other in any way. You get Bancrofts first, or after your boots, but you've gotten blue boots, not purple boots, so you're obviously not going the lifesteal build.
Got it.
And this is just a flat power item, right? Sure, it's a great power spike, but if it doesn't synergize with the rest of your build, what are you doing? You're sabotaging yourself right at the start here. Then you go into your pen build. Well, now you're not getting a Typhon's Fang to really capitalize on this. You're getting Divine, which is obviously a good item. You're pretty much always going to want the Divine, but you're not fitting Typhon's Fang anywhere into your build at all. Because after that, now you're going for your percent pen, which could have been Typhon's Fang if you'd picked up the purple boots, but instead you're getting Obshard, which doesn't synergize with Bancrofts at all, again, and you're still only sitting at 20% CDR because you're also not picking up a Spear of Desolation, and you don't have that big team impact with Spear of the Magus. So really, you're also only sitting at 10 flat pen as well. So the items just don't synergize with each other. And just like a good team, a good build does require synergy.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing here is blah, blah, blah mage stuff. Cupid's OP.
Here we go again with the Cupid.
I mean,
bullshit.
Cupid carries.
Eins, did I say anything about Cupid?
Talking to Skipper.
I'm just saying, like, Cupid, like, okay, Don's build, maybe not the best, but Cupid was, so we won the game.
I don't even
Yeah, I
remember what
mean,
you built.
Everything.
I
I
assume
built
crit.
damages. Yes.
it's there again. I gotta say that for Skipper's team, it seems like even going into playing him, I remember the game plan being I should try and shut him down. But you saying you're gonna do that and you actually doing that are two very different things, and I think that showed that here.
Yeah. So, anyone else got closing thoughts on this game, the Atrocity versus Max mode?
Yeah, I just Atrocity's ADC sucks, man. Just don't even worry about him.
Agreed.
Don't do anything, and don't worry about it.
Yes, don't focus the ADC at all. Don't especially go into duo lane ever. There's no need to gank.
Yeah, that's the game plan.
Yep. All right. We got one more game here before we wrap it up. We got the Dinkelbergs versus Dynamite.
That's
Well,
SDL, correct?
Yeah, that's the lower league.
Unfortunately enough that I won't be able to stay for this one because I have to leave.
All right.
So
No
I
problem.
just want to say thank you guys for bringing me onto the show.
Yeah.
And I will catch you guys soon.
All
Thank
right,
you for
later,
your
T-Kels.
voice.
Later, guys.
All right, so Dinkelbergs versus Dynamite. Yes, this is the first. Was it the first game of the lower league?
I do believe so.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't Doctor. Oh no, it was.
No.
It was.
Yeah. So also, one thing to add, I believe the jungler, Zeftar, and then Kid Slim and Vile, or for Dynamite was a sub, and then Kid Slim and Vile Artist for Dinkelbergs were both subs as well.
Correct.
Right.
So 3 subs this game. No team was playing at full capacity, but it was still a fun watch. Again, Kid Slim playing on that Jing. I think he did really, really well because there was multiple times where he would throw at least one person, sometimes more, into the Poseidon ult, and Poseidon would just crush them and everyone dies.
Yeah, this game, Gino's somebody I've played with a couple times, I've played against a couple times, and he's kind of a fun person to watch, just because of how much he's grown. I don't know if he won Most Improved last time, but I would argue he was definitely up there for one of the most improved people
I think he
in the
tied.
league. Just he's good. He's definitely someone to keep an eye on, and here I think it's kind of an ode to that. He starts off 0-2, but that doesn't stop him. He doesn't even get discouraged, where maybe I would have, for example. But he comes right back up there, and is able to kind of do a little bit better. And he's somebody that I love to watch play. Somebody that I'm always rooting for. Even though their coach Loki tried to get us tried to get us to DQ, but he's a great person to watch. I really want him to do well. I just think he's somebody who tries really hard, plays his ass off, and I want to see him succeed for sure.
Yeah. I thought he did really, really well.
Mhm.
And then ODST Spartan was fantastic. My
Yeah.
standout player for this series, though, was Rose Empress Tora. Their
Doesn't
ADC.
count if you play Freya.
Yeah, I mean,
Ah.
he played Freya, he played Soul, he played was it Izuname?
Izuname.
Yeah, okay.
Is that a? I'm trying to be correct here. Is that a female playing? A woman?
I have no idea.
Rose Empress Tora. I'm gonna assume that's a woman.
I believe it is male. Or I believe Tora is a male. I know Lucio Horde is friends with Tora, and Lucio has always referred to him as his boy. So
Okay.
Okay.
All
Never
right.
mind.
So
We're gonna call you male for now. If you are a female,
Or
just
they,
come to one of us
whatever
afterwards.
pronoun you want.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, good looking out, I guess. But yeah, Rose Empress Tora was just fantastic. Playing the mage ADCs, destroying Vile Artist, destroying the rest of Dinkelbergs. Basically putting the team on his back. And that, like, as an ADC player, that was awesome to see.
And she got a fucking quadra, our fire giant, man.
That was an unofficial quadra, but yes.
almost of Penta. I mean, Tora very nearly just 1v5.
Yep.
Granted, 3 members were very low at the start of it, but still, credit where credit is due. That
Yep.
was insane.
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't like was that he was over on the duo side of the map during the fire giant fight, if he was there during the whole fight, maybe his team doesn't all die and they end the game sooner. Um, but you know, or no, they lost that game, didn't they? Yeah.
Yes.
Dynamite lost the
Oh,
first game.
that was the game that they almost won
That
from
was the
Winians.
that was the
Yes.
game where when we finally killed, who was it, that tier, and we got the middle Phoenix. I think we were all pushing for end, and Gino was very adamant. I was like, guys, we need to hurry up. Their minions are getting our Titan. Like, we need to hurry up. And we were all like, wait, what are you talking about? We look at the map, I was like, oh shit, guys, hurry up.
Yeah. I think Ruler and I were casting that game, and he pointed it out. He was like, they almost lost, and I like looked over to the Twitch stream that I had on my other monitor. I was like, they literally were like a second away from losing to Winions.
We were
That was a
woo.
huge stack, and no one saw it until it was almost too late. And I was like,
Oh
oh
no,
my.
we saw it.
Well, yeah, you
We
guys
saw
saw
it.
it. We didn't.
We saw it. We were just like, we gotta burn it quick before the Winions do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just fun Smite game to watch. I mean,
Oh yeah.
everyone loves a base race, and everyone loves a base race against Winions even more. So that was just exciting to watch, and great job on you guys for closing that out and recognizing that you had the potential to do so.
Yeah. It was a fun game. The other two did not go Dinkelberg's way, instead
It's
going to
all downhill from
Dynamite.
here.
Yeah, but I mean I saw the Cthulhu getting traded over. It was on who for game one? It was on Goose for game one. He did fantastic on that. Um Going against him, you guys put it, or Dynamite put it into support role, still did well. I mean it's one of those strong picks. So, and then what was it? Gino on the Thor. I think that was the pick for me that did really, really well.
Yeah, he went really well in that Thorn game too.
Minus that one, minus the one gank where he missed all of his kit.
Oh yeah,
happens.
yeah, I saw
I've been
that.
there
I called
before.
that out. I was like, oh, he
I'm
misses
just throwing him some
everything.
shade because I'm just throwing him some shade because cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it was unfortunate to see. I'm sure it was even more unfortunate to feel if you were in Gino's shoes at the time.
yeah,
Oh, he
the one thing that I didn't like though was the Zeus pick, um,
Uh-uh.
on ODST Spartan.
Uh-uh.
It's not my favorite god in the game.
That's a great god.
No, it just doesn't offer enough right now. I think that, I mean, he did well on it. Don't get me wrong. He did really, really well. It just, at the end of the day, it didn't do enough to help his team win the game.
Yeah, I just feel like Zeus is one of those gods where there's always somebody who does what he does a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I'm looking at it from. Again, I don't really play mage too often, but I know what I'm jungling. I don't really mind a Zeus. You know I just keep track of his if his ult is up, and if his ult's not up, he's mine. That's kind of how I look at it. He's just so immobile. He does a lot of damage, but if you wait it out and time it right, Zeus is a sitting duck. And I think that, like you said, there's just better picks, and maybe the Zeus is a comfort pick or someone he feels really confident on. But Dynamite really stole this one. You know, it's one of those things where it's like in boxing, if you got a three for, usually whoever wins game two wins game three. But I'm noticing it seems whoever wins game one sometimes can win game three. So it really depends, because it's kind of a back and forth. But Dynamite really rallied and was able to come back from that first one.
Yeah. And this is one of the, or well, both these teams I would love to see them play again at, full strength, having their full rosters going against each other. Especially with the
Yeah.
knowledge that they learned from this game. And maybe Dinkelbergs will probably put a little more pressure onto that duo lane and trying to shut Rose Empress Tora down and not let him get as massive as he did on Freya.
Yeah, and just something fun to watch. You know, your progression. If you've never played in the league before, the game is so different. So for them to what they'll learn in a couple weeks versus what they know now, you'll see a much different showing from these two teams. I think, in my opinion. So it'll be really fun to watch how they synergize together and what they learn.
Yeah. But
Alright,
what do you
I'm
got,
gonna have to
Spooky?
disagree with you all. Zeus is
Ooh.
actually the king of gods, which means he is actually the best possible pick you can make in any given
And like that,
situation. So
so the
anyone
podcast is over. Oh my gosh, look at the time.
but no, I like the spicy Zeus pick. I liked it a lot.
I mean, yeah, it's spicy. It's nice. It just didn't do enough for me.
Yeah, it's something that you can do. Do I think that it maybe he could have done more with another god, possibly? But again, I don't really know. I know that you're a fan of it, so I played with you when you played him in Joust, and it was a lot of fun to play. I just wonder if in Conquest, maybe you could bring it out and show us how good that spicy Zeus pick is.
Yeah, I heard you're playing a decent team today or this week. Pick out Zeus. See what happens.
I would love to see that.
I have to get the coach's permission first,
And
and
do
I
it
don't
first
think
game.
my
Yeah, don't ban my
don't
Cupid.
don't wait. Oh,
I don't think I positioned well enough for my coach to approve it just yet.
Yes, exactly. You got to have some big brain positioning, and I mean, no offense to the players in this league, but a lot of the times that's not the issue, especially myself. I will position on the other team's Titan if I think that's aggressive enough, and
Or if you just want to laugh.
yeah, that too.
yeah, I say Spooky, bring him out game one. Don't wait to see how things go. Do
Yeah,
it the first time. Be confident in that pick. I trust you.
Cupid versus Zeus. We'll
I'll
see what
watch.
happens.
Oh,
I'm not
you
allowed to
taking
cast,
Cupid
but
into
I'll
mid
watch.
lane?
I don't think my Cupid's even getting through the first round of bans.
Uh, we'll see.
But anyway, do we got closing thoughts for Dinkelbergs versus Dynamites? Dynamite?
No.
We got robbed. We got
I
robbed.
want to point out that there were over 60 kills in 35 minutes, game one.
Yes. Yes.
That game was a
What a game.
bloodbath.
Oh yeah, it was fun
Yeah,
to
I like
watch.
that. I like that.
That was high octane smite, as Muffin Man put it, and I loved it.
Yep. All right.
No shade to the Rat-a-tat-sker in game 3 because even though he only got 2 kills, it seemed like he was everywhere. For the rat sub, it seemed like he was everywhere. I just want to point out I had more player damage than him, so I win.
Yikes. I definitely know what that's like as a jungler, though, when you just can't seem to get anything off, but you feel like you're doing stuff, and it's the shittiest feeling in the world.
He was doing his ultimates were everywhere, and it was getting on our nerves the way he'd ult in to engage, and he died a few times. He set up his team a lot, which was kind of what got us in the end. So
That's good. That's what I like to see. It's somebody who's got a lot of promise, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So I think that'll do it for us here. Check out week 2 of the Reap Smite League. I don't believe any games are scheduled yet,
we
but
have
We have one more this week.
Janitors
yes.
versus Dr. Phil next week.
Okay, we got a whole lot of teams playing next week. Check them out on the Twitch stream for the Reap Smite League. Otherwise, I've been Skipper, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.